Hello everyone and welcome to the Oliver Wilde Experience featuring Oscar Thompson. Money, power, sexy culture.
You sound really depressed.
Well,
It's like someone's died or
well,
something.
I've been doing a lot of night shift as well. I just feel like my life at the moment for the past 2 weeks. Sorry for the rant already. In the
It's fine.
2 seconds in. It's been very go, 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 go.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, and I'm someone who, like, I kind of like the idea of my whole day being occupied with different random
No,
things.
see, I hate
like,
that. I need space. Like, I need time to relax. Like,
I know what you mean. Like, I genuinely do as
Yeah.
well. But I actually prefer having a day on, day off type of thing. I have, like, just doing, knocking everything
Yeah.
out one day and then having a
no,
day
I'm
off.
kind of more of a, like, I'll rather have 3 days packed with stuff and then 4 days with absolutely nothing type of thing. I
Right.
don't know. But anyway, we don't have food with us today, which
No.
is also probably contributing to
and
your
I was going
depression.
to say that I'm in the morning. I'm not hungry. I don't know
Yeah.
what it is. I just don't. I'm never hungry.
Well, I'm hungry at all times of the day. I don't discriminate, so...
But like before school and stuff, I used to not eat breakfast.
Yeah, same, but just like I didn't really have time. Like it's like
Yes,
it's that early.
sure.
Like
You're
But
right,
if I'm
actually.
waking up for uni and it's like I don't need to be there till 10 a.m. and I have a bit more time, then like I will do something. What's your favorite type of breakfast foods? See, because I'm very much so. I've been enjoying hash browns in the air fryer.
Oh,
Right.
No,
I like streaky bacon over normal bacon,
I don't know the difference.
and then either scrambled eggs or fried egg. And then like sourdough toast. But you know what? Sourdough toast is so expensive. Have you seen the prices of the
Someone
Woolworths
was telling me
sourdough?
that.
It's insane.
But I used to have sourdough a bit, but now I don't. I just don't eat sourdough.
Yes, but my issue with normal bread is normal bread just doesn't even taste like bread. Like it's just so plain. It's probably so processed.
And
It's
that's
like that's my issue with tomato sauce. Like
Mr.
ketchup.
Erwan over here.
Right? No, but seriously, like tomato sauce ketchup, it doesn't taste like tomato.
That's why I
tastes
like it.
No, it tastes like a bunch of chemical bullshit.
That's why I like
no,
it.
No, because I saw, Obama hates ketchup because
Oh,
he,
right.
same reason as me. So there,
Right,
there you
right,
go.
right. Well, because
Yeah.
I used to not like ketchup.
No.
But like, I just
It's
like it because I
disgusting.
don't like tomato.
Do you know what
But
I like?
don't
I like
get
mustard. Mustard's great. I'm a big mustard person. Like I like cheap mustard and fancy mustard.
I'm not
It's
sure.
extremely, what's the word? Overpowering, but I quite like it. I don't mind barbecue sauce as well, but it's like I don't know how the fuck like it doesn't taste like barbecue, does it? Do you get what I'm
No,
saying?
but again, I think that's why I like it. I
Yes,
think I
but
like
at
the
the same
artificial
time,
taste.
them saying barbecue, like everyone knows that's not a real taste, so that's fine. But saying tomato sauce,
True,
like that's a
you're
real
right.
taste.
Well,
and
that's why it's
it-
ketchup.
Yeah, but fucking.
Why do
all
we
these
call it? Why
terms-
I wonder why we call it tomato
literally
sauce in
has-
Australia and
Yeah.
they call it ketchup
But
in America. Like,
what about it is
America's a bit
ketchup?
more? America's a bit more
But
forward.
where did they even get
I'm
that?
not sure.
Anyway.
Ketchup.
Yeah,
Maybe it's like a
like a saying like that they did, and then they adapted it.
No, I think it might be. Look, this is Oliver Wilde making bullshit up on the run again. But
Okay.
like, I think it might be like a way of like a tomato, like a version of a tomato. Maybe.
So you think a type of tomato is ketchup?
Maybe.
No, not at all. Because you have like baby tomatoes and you have the big tomatoes.
Oh, that's
I don't like
disgusting.
big tomatoes. I like baby tomatoes better. Because
They're all
like,
disgusting.
The big one, yeah. No, look, I don't mind
It just
tomatoes.
makes me gag.
A
Like,
bit.
it makes me
Sometimes
gag,
it's
and
really
it's just
soggy
yeah.
and wet and disgusting. Anyway,
Like I remember once. Sorry to continue, but like
That's fine.
I
Of
really
course
need
he
to get this.
continues going on
But
about
like
food.
I was gonna be. Oh, I'm gonna be a skinny girl today. And
Yeah.
I made bruschetta.
Okay,
Bruschetta, right?
yeah.
And I ate it, and I just threw up.
What,
Like
today?
it was just no, not today. No.
When?
I haven't eaten it today.
Oh, okay.
This was like I don't know, a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it just made me like gag. Like
Okay.
I mean, I threw up.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the bread, because you know what I ended up doing? I just ended up chucking all the tomatoes away, eating
and
the
then just
bread
eating
with
the bread.
oil.
Well, I always think the best kind of food group is like carbs.
Oh, for
Like I
sure.
love carbs. Anyway, enough about food. But basically, as a bit of an intro, we thought since we don't have food, we should provide people a bit of an update.
Oh yeah, we've been off for a while.
We have, so we missed a few weeks. Do you want to fill in on what you were doing in them few weeks? You went to Euro Summer Melbourne.
Yes,
Sunshine Melbourne.
I went to Sunshine in Melbourne. Had a nice holiday. I was with my nana, my
Yeah.
Maltese grandmother. I didn't mind it actually, but I actually to be honest, to be quite honest, it felt very quick. Like it feels like I've.
Well,
already
how long
forgotten
were you
it.
there for?
I was only there for 5 days.
Yeah, but that's decent for Melbourne. That's decent.
Yeah.
Whenever I've been to Melbourne, it's been like 3
You
days.
know
4
what?
days.
You know what with Melbourne? I love suburbia there. It just it brings me to tears thinking about it.
Well, I haven't seen enough of the suburbs because when I go, I stay in the city. So
I
need to get out.
find like the food in Melbourne, like I don't know, there's just something about suburbia in Melbourne which I think is much better than suburbia in Sydney, right? But I think the
Do they
city,
have slightly better infrastructure? Like, do they have better roads and stuff?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for
because
sure.
like whenever like I'm a big I'm gonna sound completely insane. I'm a big Google Maps person, like Google Earth.
Yeah.
Like I like to just choose random areas and drive around it. And whenever I choose like a suburb in Melbourne, whether it's east, whether it's west, whatever it is, I don't discriminate. The roads always look a lot better than the roads in Sydney. Or like
Yeah.
in Western Sydney, the roads look a lot worse than Western Melbourne.
Yeah, because when I think about it now, because obviously I was in Western Melbourne, there was no potholes,
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
and like all the roads were pretty newly done.
Yeah.
I was saying to Oscar actually that there's very few toll roads there, and like the equivalent of like what the M5 or M7 would be there is completely free, which I think is interesting because we'll get into it later with food
Yes.
the Victorian stuff.
Yes,
but,
definitely. We'll have a good discussion about that later.
Yeah.
In terms of me, I was basically the reason that we couldn't upload.
not
because
my Melbourne holiday.
Yeah, no, not as Euro. I must say as well, do you think that there is because I remember you saying something just before I move on to me,
Sorry.
that you did some vlog on your Instagram and called like it your Euro summer and then people clicked off and they realized
Yes.
it's Melbourne. Do you think there's a stigma about like domestic travel? And do you think that's like inherently like classist?
I don't think there is if it's to the Gold Coast.
Yes. Okay. Well, and specifically, then, do you think it's Melbourne? Do you think people like
People
or do
don't
you think
care.
it's just
People don't
'cause
care.
you-
People are not bothered to watch
But people care about Euro summer. Of
course.
when they see Melbourne.
Of course.
Okay, so you don't think it's like an inherent thing? It's just like, of course, they're going to care more about Europe
Yeah,
than Melbourne.
for sure.
Okay.
Because it's Europe. It's a bit more.
Yeah,
out
but
there.
I mean, you said in
And
sunshine.
Melbourne-
Sunshine sounds pretty, pretty European.
I'm actually, and I was saying to Oscar, actually thinking about moving there. That's
Yeah,
my
full-time sunshine.
bombshell
We'll have
on the podcast.
we'll have to do a episode live from Sunshine.
Oh my God.
And there'll be like 10 Africans just milling in and out of the house. I love the African
Yeah.
community before you come for me. Okay, so
We'll have
yes.
some fufu. We'll have some fufu.
What the fuck is that?
Fufu. Have you not had fufu? I see it all over my because my TikTok's infested with Facebook Marketplace food.
Oh yes,
and it's like
did
the
you
bread
see-
stuff.
I think
Fufu.
you sent me. It was some. I don't want to get the race wrong, but it was some like type of like. Looked really good. It was a nice islander guy, and he like made some dessert.
Yes.
And they were like, yeah,
Yes,
yes, really
yes,
good. And
the
they
cinnamon
gave more-
scroll things, yes.
I want to try them. That's what we need to do next time instead of what's it called? Instead of just having.
I know,
we
but
need
then,
to have a
then
Facebook
we'll fucking drive up to Whoop Whoop and then I'll end up like Ramadan night markets
I
again.
You know, anyway, I only lasted about 10 minutes there. 'Cause you know what? The lines were too long at the night markets.
Yeah, it was.
Anyway, we
It
won't
was.
get into it. So yes, me. I remember actually it happened on the day we recorded the last podcast. I was just in a lot of pain throughout the podcast. So then I went to the GP later on that day, pretty much like an hour after. And I'm not going to get into the specifics, but basically he's like, oh, you need to go to the ER like pretty much like ASAP, right? So go to the ER, they do like all these tests, scans, the whole lot. And they're like, you have a hernia. It's a specific type of hernia. I can't remember the name of it. It's like
Linguistically,
something
I
like
don't know.
that. If by all means, Google it if you do.
Yeah.
Don't Google
We
it
didn't
if you
do
don't want
we
to.
didn't do biology.
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, my kind of approach to it was the less I know, the better. I don't want to stress myself out and know everything sometimes
Fair
because that's like my natural thing. Like, oh my God, I need to know everything about this to work out how to approach it. It was very much so like, I'm just not going to look into it and just trust all the doctors and shit like that.
Yeah,
and
right.
Just, not stress myself out. So they basically said we can either, do a surgery to fix it like right now, or you can do it privately in the next few weeks. And that's what I decided to do. And I've, had a few different appointments with surgeons, stuff like that. Then I had the surgery, and then I had an allergic reaction coming out of it. So I remember waking up and, everyone told me, oh, you're going to wake up and you're going to be like off your head saying all this stupid shit. And I wasn't at all. I woke up with 20 people around me and my heartbeat was apparently like off the records, and I was like bright red. Yeah, literally. I started hearing all the beeps and shit, and I'm thinking, oh my god, is this the end for me? I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Because the first thing when I woke up was some woman trying to take a photo of me. She's like, oh, Oscar, do I have your permission to take a photo? And I'm like, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. So I'm like, yeah, sure. And I think I tried to like smile. I actually have the photos. I look really grim. I won't put them up here, but I'll show you. And the reason she did is because I'm going to appear in all these textbooks, because like I was like an anomaly, like 1 in 1,000. So anyway, there's that. Then a few weeks of recovery. So yeah, there we go. And you know, I was spending a lot of time then at home recovering and stuff like that. And I must say, I don't know how to approach this, but like, I'm being stalked by the Mormon church, right? Basically, it started happening a few months ago. They started showing up and knocking on my door asking for my mum. And she wasn't home for a few times, etc. So we basically just told them to go away, like she's not interested. They then come back. When she's there, she basically has a go at them, and they're like, oh, you clicked on an online ad, which she wouldn't have done, right? So she basically sent them packing, you know, kick rocks, bitch. And then after that, basically nothing happened. But now they're starting to give us like notes. Like, I've sent you a photo of the notes. They're like, I'm not bullshitting. They're sending us notes and shit, talking about trying to get in contact with my mum because she's clicking on online ads. She hasn't clicked on a single online ad whatsoever.
But doesn't she watch that show?
The reason that we think they're coming is because she watched that show, The Mormon Wives. And then she also watched quite a few documentaries about, like, the Mormon church and, like, all of the cover-ups and stuff they're doing. So what we think they're doing is we think that they are, like, buying metadata from all these people watching these Mormon shows and Mormon documentaries and trying to recruit them from the church. To the church, sorry. So basically, I don't know what the fuck's going on. All I know is that when we do, like, kind of send them packing, they kind of mill around the front of the house for like 20 minutes because they don't know what to do.
It's interesting. They came to my house not that long ago, only once, and it wasn't specific.
Yeah,
and they've been here.
Like on a name basis.
It was weird, but like, and I spoke to my dad. They were very lovely, actually.
They were, yeah. Mine were like, they were only probably like 20-year-old, like 3 American girls.
Yeah,
but you can tell they were dressed in a very conservative way.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell something's up with them, but they were very nice. It's not their fault whatsoever. They're, you know, what's the word?
That is
being
true.
Taken advantage of, doing
they're
all this
indoctrinated.
Stuff. Yes. It's the church's fault and how the church is getting that information that we have a problem with. Anyway, that's right. So what were you saying?
Oh, and I was speaking to my dad, and I was like, oh, they're the same too. So, like, it's clearly, like, it's the same people over and over again in every single suburb.
I think they're from the Summerhill Mormon Church or something, because I think that's the nearest one in this area. So anyway, shout outs, I guess, to the Summerhill Mormon Church.
But, like, I don't know, like, because obviously I do door knocking. Well, you do it as well, door knocking for the Labour Party. And then, you know, we get annoyed about that. Imagine what people would think about people knocking on the doors. Remember when we were in Leichhardt?
Yeah.
And some of those people were just like, what the hell?
Yeah. And that's in Leichhardt as well. Yeah. So can you imagine poor people who are like door knocking
time I was out
regional areas or even out west?
Well, one time I was out in Padstow Heights.
And someone this guy, with a shotgun?
They were stupid. They were stupid, sending us out at 9 a.m. on a Saturday morning.
Yeah, well, you're just asking for it then because you're probably waking people up.
Well, that's when it was very early, actually. Yeah. I think that's when we did it in Leichhardt, though, wasn't it? I don't know. Who knows?
It was like 10, 11 a.m.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And they're all probably up anyway, you know, eating avocado.
And there was some guy, some Labour guy, and he just got, who the fuck are you? Like, what the fuck? Like, Kylie fucking Wilkinson, I'll fucking let her know. Anyway, because that was, Pete, but, yeah, like, I think there does need to be a bit of, like, an inquiry.
Inquire into what?
Into door knocking on everyone's part.
Yeah, like, I feel like we should either ban it for everyone. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, but I mean, I would also argue when it comes to elections and political volunteering, like, it's mandatory to vote in this country, so everyone has to get out and vote. So, like, you know, it's then really up to the parties on what doors they knock on, right? And I think that if you want to put in the effort and meet people, that's fine, right? Because everyone has to vote anyway. Not everyone has to attend a church. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's not a mandatory thing. That's up to people. Like, I feel like you don't need to come and try and recruit people of that. because it's not like a mandatory thing everyone has to do.
Yeah.
Whereas with elections, everyone has to go and vote, and you're just informing people about that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we need to look into what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. I guess it's all free speech, so it depends on the circumstance.
Yeah.
Anyway, I know this week. Well, was it this week? Last week?
Oh yeah,
Charli
I think
xcx,
last week or 2 weeks ago.
I don't know. Released a new album.
While we were on break,
Yeah.
Charli
In your
xcx.
Euro summer sunshine.
Yeah, no, I think I was back by then.
Okay.
Anyway,
so
but
it's
anyway.
newer. Yeah.
Charli xcx released a new album called Music Fashion Film. It was, I think it was her 8th studio album, and that includes that Wuthering Heights one from February, the soundtrack.
Yeah, I never listened to that in full because like I don't really count that because isn't it just the soundtrack?
It is, but it's an album. Like it's not a traditional soundtrack.
So you could listen to it as an album.
Yes, and that's why it's counted as an
Yeah,
album.
I don't
Because
know
they're
about
actual
that.
songs. Like it's not like when you listen to it, it's just some random like.
Undertone that's obvious about
yeah.
the movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like you can listen to it on its own.
That's
okay.
right.
Well, not much took off from that, but isn't that song the house song
Yeah.
from that? That's like the only one I think I know from that.
Well, I like Dying for You, but that's a bit too niche. But yeah, House is the one that took off.
Yeah.
Anyway, Wuthering Heights is now a rock album, right?
I
Now,
don't know if I'd call it rock.
well, that's what she calls it.
Okay.
I
Sure.
agree with
Yeah.
you. I agree
It's
with
not
you.
like rock in your face. It's like
No.
there's elements
That's
of
good.
rock. There's elements of like, that kind of vibe.
Bit
I don't-
edgy. Just edgy.
Yeah, edgy is probably a better word, especially with the branding. Yeah.
But there's been a lot of debate actually online whether it's similar. It reminds me actually of Beyonce and the country stuff. Whether like Charli should go to a new genre, and I'm like, she can do what she wants.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm all for artists experimenting, trying new things, thinking outside of the box. I guess we need to encourage that because otherwise everything's just going to sound
Yeah.
the same.
Now, everyone's been kind of saying that I've spoken to, I haven't heard about this album, and I think the truth is nothing's going to compare to Brat. Right?
No,
Brat
I
was a
think-
cultural phenomenon.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. But do you not think, of course it's not going to necessarily live up to
Yeah.
Brat, but I think that she hasn't even really tried to do that.
No, and
So
that,
it's
I
almost
agree.
like she's conceded defeat that yes, that's a cultural thing. Yes, that's always what I'm going to be known
I
for.
agree.
I'm not going to try and recreate that. Like, do you get what I'm
I
saying?
completely
Like, what
agree
is
with you.
Good is good. Like, let's leave it. Let's
And
not
that's
overdo
right.
it. Yeah.
And that's what I was going to say. I think she doesn't want to do it. I think she kind of wants to go back to being a bit more niche. I think she's a bit done with the whole global pop star thing, and she wants to kind of, okay, now I still want to make music because that's what
Yeah.
I enjoy doing, but I don't want to be
It's
too
almost
out
like
there.
Brat opened her up to the world, and now the people that like her are going to stay with her. You
That's
get what I'm
right,
saying?
for sure.
So now she's catering towards them.
Yeah.
Rather than the entire world.
That's
and stuff like
right.
that. I like songs. Like the best one I said right away when I listened to it was the song 2007. And I think that's done pretty well. What are the other ones? Like, what ones do you like? What ones have been like going?
Camera, I'd say
Yes,
Camera
yes,
is
that's
the
a good
number
one.
one.
Yep, definitely.
Then Wink Wink as well. That's also done pretty well.
Yeah.
Rock Music is pretty shit. That was the first one she released, and when she released that, I thought to myself, "Oh my god, what is she
Yeah.
doing?" type of
Yeah.
thing. Now I liked Card Declined, which is a bit interesting because most people would think that's quite crap, but there's something about
Well,
it I quite like about
You're
it.
not going to put it on at a party, are you? You get what
No,
I'm saying?
you're
like
not.
it's much more of like I'm
Just
in the
listening.
mood to search this up.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like you're not really gonna. No
But
one's
there's just
putting that on the aux.
There's something about it that's a bit earwormy. It's for
Yeah.
me. I think it's the way it kind of slows. Like it somehow it's the guitar, which is why I quite like the rock. It just goes. Zoom.
Yeah.
2007 I liked. I didn't like it as much as when I first listened, and then I listened to it more. I quite liked it more.
Yeah.
But I do think there's something about it that just feels a bit. I don't know. It makes me feel a bit uncomfortable.
It's just that little bit too short and too simplistic.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? There could just be a little more, maybe something added to it that would have just made it, from like an 8 or 9 out
Yeah.
of 10 song to 10 out of 10 song.
Yeah. And then the last one I really liked was that No One Lasts Forever. Now, I didn't like that at all to begin with. It actually made me, I had to turn it off.
Yeah.
Because it was a whole thing about death.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it was that guy in the
And
saying,
For context, he's really touchy about death. Like,
Yes.
that's his biggest fear.
yeah, that's my big fear.
Why do you think it's your big fear, though? Like, I feel like you can't just drop that on people and not
what's the
elaborate.
point of living if you're going to die?
That's the point. You need to make that time count. You get what
Yeah,
I'm
but,
saying?
like, it's just
you
like,
need to
but you're
make
gonna
every
die.
minute worth it.
Like, you're gonna
You
die.
could die tomorrow, and you're not going to know about it right now. So you
That's
just
right.
need to
That's
make
exactly
as
my
much
point.
time count.
That's exactly my point.
So is your issue then that you don't feel like you're making your time count?
My issue is, what's the point of doing anything if you're gonna die anyway?
But I feel like there's so many like metaphors you could use. Like, what's the point of like, I don't know, eating if you're going to be hungry tomorrow? Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like,
That is good, true.
It's not the best metaphor, but it's just like there's so many examples of doing things with, you know,
It
that you
just
could
makes me
argue is
think.
irrelevant.
It makes it feels a bit eerie. Like
Yeah.
I like the whole, and it's. I think we're looking at it a bit too one-on-one. Like, I think of it as a bit of a global thing. Like,
Yeah.
what has
Well,
possessed?
how have we not fixed this?
Yes.
You know what I mean? How have we not fixed this?
Yes, that's right.
Like, we've made all this shit. Like, we're making AI, we're making all this crazy
Yeah.
shit. You know, we're bombing other countries.
Yeah.
Why don't we spend this time and money trying to get rid of death?
That's
Now,
right.
I wouldn't personally like that because, like, you know, it's a bit like, kind of gets to the point where it's like, I feel like it would be really bad living forever. Like, I think that's kind of like a general kind of, like, we can all agree, like, that would be pretty
Yes, that
shit.
is. You know what?
But, like, I like the idea of choosing you at the time you go out,
That's
which is
right.
why I personally
agree.
support stuff like assisted dying. Because it's kind of like, you want that autonomy. Like, you deserve that autonomy. You've worked fucking hard your entire life.
Yeah.
You should be able to choose the terms you go out on.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. That was a bit of a detour with that. But yeah,
Well,
continue
that is another point, though. I'm actually scared of living forever. I don't want to live forever.
so you don't know what you want, basically.
And it's annoying. Like, why are we being? Why
So
are we
do
in
you
this
just
pickle?
do you want to live till like 100 and then call it quits? But then even then,
I want to live a bit longer. I think
110.
maybe a bit longer.
No, there's no need. No
Maybe
need.
120.
Well, I did see something that's like people born in 2007, like most of us are going to live, well, in 2008, you probably have better chances, will live to like 100. Like that will be like the age, like, you know, like now it's like 80, 85.
82. Yeah.
That will kind of be our age, our
That's
expiry
good
date.
to know.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know where I heard it from, so don't take that as, you know, gospel.
Anyway, back to the
Yeah,
back to
sorry,
the
that was a
song.
massive detour.
It made me feel a bit because it's all about death. But like the beginning of the song, I actually really like. Before he starts going to, before the guy starts, because they have like a feature. She has a feature on there.
Yeah.
But that was my general thoughts on the album are, you know, it's different, and that's what I like about it. Like, I think Charli, what I think she does best is I think she she's a woman with conviction. She doesn't care
Yeah.
what other people think. You know, she'll just put something out, and
If you
whatever
like
people
it, you like it. If you don't like it, you
that's
don't.
right,
Just
and
get
she
with the
doesn't
program.
care.
Yeah.
She doesn't care about the criticism.
Yeah. And I think that's good and bad. I think you should obviously take, you know, the criticism into account, but then also, yes, you need conviction. You need to know your lane, know what you're doing, and be confident in that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes there is nothing worse than people who go half in, half out of
Yeah,
stuff. Right.
for sure.
Because I always find sometimes I'm like that, you know, like I'll be very much sure I know what I want to do. Not that I'm making music. But then I kind of back off a bit and I kind of, you know, end up watering things down. But I
for
think
sure.
sometimes it's great if you really know what you want and then go and do that.
But I find I do that because I'm just lazy. Like,
Well, no, mine's more or less like, okay, I want to, you know, take a bit of risk out of it. I want to please people a bit more.
Right,
Like, this is
okay.
what I want to do, but it's not fully socially
Right,
acceptable
right.
for me to go all in on that. Like, more moderating it to, like, the average public.
Yeah,
Just
okay.
anything I do. Anyway, speaking about the average public and moderating, I think it's a good segue to speak about Victorian politics, which has been, what's one word you would describe Victorian
Shambolic.
politics right now?
Shambolic.
Yeah.
abysmal.
So basically, for those who are unaware, Jacinta Allan was the Labour Premier of Victoria. And it was last Monday initially, basically a group of her colleagues went and visited her, cross-factional, basically telling her, like, you got to step aside due to bad polling. You know, people have had concerns about corruption in the building construction sector, stuff like that. She basically said, no way. I'm going to bring this to a ballot of all of our members. And, you know, the actual rank and file, which would have basically taken a long time, and the whole thing would have blown up, especially approaching an election.
There's 4 months to an election, and
Yeah.
that would have taken 4 weeks. So it would have been 3 months after.
Exactly.
So,
So basically, big issues there. Ben Carroll, her deputy, basically announces he's going to challenge, despite saying a few weeks beforehand. He looked her in the eye and said, no, I'm not going to challenge you. And then he did some whole speech about how he has a daughter and the whole lot. And basically, so he challenges her. and she then decides to step aside and go into this party room meeting, and another MP called Sonia Kilkenny decides to kick up a stink.
Yeah, and Jacinta says wants her.
Yeah, and basically Jacinta and a lot of the Jacinta Allan loyalists backed Sonia Kilkenny, and then there was a whole shit fight there. They actually temporarily appointed an interim premier, which was Gabrielle Williams, while the two were potentially, Ben Carroll and Sonia Kilkenny were potentially going to go to a 4-week, whatever it was, contest. Then they decided no, Sonia will drop out, and Ben Carroll became premier in a very chaotic day. What are your thoughts on it? Enlighten us.
I was just so sad. I was so depressed. Like, I understand there are legitimate criticisms of Jacinta Allan. Like, I think a lot of the CFMEU stuff, like, I think it's been completely overblown. Yes,
I think it's been crazy overblown.
Right? Now, but I do think, in a way, she should have, if I had any criticism of her, like, I think this is it. I think her issue with that
she probably should have gotten on top of it and called the Royal Commission.
Well, yes. Look like she's doing something. And I think she was a minister at every kind of point in it. So it makes it look, it's a bit like the Scott Morrison Robodebt stuff, where he was a minister at all the taunts and that, and he didn't want to talk about it at all. I don't
think that's necessarily a fair comparison.
Like, well, it's the same like, to the public.
I wouldn't quite say people are dying.
No, but I'm just saying that what the public, like,
it's a scandal. You're responsible because of the portfolios you were in.
That's right.
Yes, I can understand.
And I also think what we saw today as well, which I thought was interesting, polling came out that showed this leadership change has actually tanked Labor even more. Yeah. Right. Now I've been saying for a long time, Vic Labor's actually not in that bad of a state.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't you say they can win with a two-party preferred that is not in their favour?
That's right. They can win a majority government, even if the Liberals coalition, and I know that doesn't matter as much anymore, One Nation, they can still win a majority government with the coalition on around 51%, even 52%, right? But the polling today showed that Labor's dropped even further, and they'd get about 15 seats.
Yeah. Yeah, well, look, my kind of thing is, I definitely think it was wrong to dump Jacinta Allan, because the way I look at it is, look, Jacinta Allan, Dan Andrews, they were both very defined. People knew who they were. They knew where they stood, whether they liked them or not. You know, they know who these people are.
That's right. Any publicity is good publicity.
Exactly. They know Dan from the COVID press conferences and all that. They know Jacinta from opening up all the Metro stuff and getting into fights with reporters and stuff like that. People knew who they were. They were familiar faces. I think the issue with Ben Carroll is no one knows who he is. Very few people actually know Ben Carroll well. And in my opinion, that's a risk, because what it means that he needs to define himself, and he needs to do it in 118 days or whatever it is now, something like that. He needs to define himself, and if he fails to do that, the opposition are going to define him instead, right?
And he's not no Kamala Harris. This isn't some generational figure.
Yes, this is someone who's very wooden, not very charismatic at all. So basically, he runs the risk that he needs to define himself ASAP, right? And I think that risk is way bigger than the risk of keeping Jacinta Allan on.
That's right.
Right? Because let's look at Jacinta Allan. As I said, people know who she is, right? In the end of the day, she was still keeping, in my opinion, but I also think when you look at the fact, she was still keeping Labor competitive.
That's right.
The news poll just before she got deposed had Labor only down
it was 52-48%,
right? Now, that is not that bad, right?
No.
Think of Albanese as he was going into the 2025 Australian federal election.
There was one that was 55-45, coalition's way.
Yeah, exactly. And then look at the majority he won.
Yeah,
do you get what I'm saying?
Right.
So basically what I'm saying here is I think they would be way better off if they spent their time, energy and effort getting behind Jacinta Allan, who's keeping them electorally competitive, building a good campaign focused on real issues that matter with good, bold, progressive policies, and bringing that to the election, then risking potentially moving to Ben Carroll. And now I think we're seeing that risk begin to go completely south
that's
with
right.
this polling.
Right.
Because they've seen that this guy
Yeah.
is, wooden and, not very charismatic and he's just a robot. And they're not liking it.
And also, another big point is disunity is death, right?
Yep, absolutely.
The Victorian Labor Party's whole selling point, and the really number one reason why they're in a competitive space, is because the coalition has had 3 leaders in 2 years and 6 leaders in 7 years, right? Vic Labor, this is their 3rd leadership change in 16 years, right? And the truth is, though, that for 13 of those years, it was one change. And now in this 3 years, it's now this one. And Vic Labor, for a long period, has been one of the most stable, like, parliamentary parties in Australia.
Yep.
And it's just all come crumbling down.
Basically, they've gotten rid of their unique selling point, which I agree with you.
Yeah.
They've taken a bigger risk than they needed to take, which I covered. And we'll see how it goes. We'll see how the election goes. I obviously still want Labor to win. I still think, as much as I have my doubts about Ben Carroll, I prefer him over people like Chris Minns. Like, I don't think he's, I don't think he's the worst possible leader ever, but I really think that he's going to open up a lot of issues here. And if Victorian Labor doesn't get ahead of them, if they don't get on top of that, it could get
I think,
quite bad.
I think with these contests, I think, like, obviously he's the prime issue because he's the one who took over.
Yep.
But it's not fair to just pin it all onto one person. Like that Gabrielle Williams, who was Transport Minister under Jacinta Allan, and the leading left figure who wanted to change. I think she has a lot of blood on her hands. That's the truth.
Because she was one of the people that went and told Jacinta to step aside.
I know. And it's just...
And that's the issue as well, quickly going back into the actual party room stuff. The issue is, in my opinion, right, as someone who would be in Labor left, right, I think it just went tits up. What should have happened is the left should have basically united and basically not split, because they split between some of them going to Ben Carroll, like Gabrielle Williams, some of them sticking behind Jacinta, like Sonia Kilkenny.
Yeah.
If they had maybe even quickly, thought, okay, Jacinta's stepping aside, let's get behind the left candidate. Or if all the left had respectfully told Jacinta it's over, she could have basically endorsed the left candidate and they could have a left premier right now. Like, I just don't think the left had their shit together whatsoever. Which annoys me quite a lot, because they split. And that's the issue. When the left splits, the right comes in.
That's
and
right.
I mean, like...
Well, especially in a state like Victoria, where you'd think the left has a very overwhelming majority.
But what gets me is people in Victoria, like, a lot of them need help, right? In terms of cost of living, stuff like that, in the outer suburbs, stuff like that. Bringing in a right leader, they're less likely to do all the bold, big things. You get what I'm saying? Especially when he's coming out, I value every dollar, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to spend, conservatively, whatever the fuck he's saying. He's not going to be providing the relief like Jacinta did temporarily for the... Was it free transport for a month?
2 months. Oh no, for a month. I think it was free transport for
he's
2
not gonna
months, and
do
now it's
the
half
big
price.
Things that I think are required to do in a cost of
I
living
did think it was
crisis.
interesting, and I'm not saying this is a big thing, but he has extended the rego, the 20% off rego, which I didn't know about until I looked up Ben Carroll yesterday, and that came up.
Yeah, but then that's a communications issue, because I
That's
didn't know this either, and I'm pretty clued into this. Like,
I didn't know that at all until I was looking at statements on Premier's website.
I know. He called the Royal Commission.
Yes,
and he's bringing in some stuff about what's it called, respecting frontline workers or something.
Right.
When he went to Kmart. Didn't he?
Yes, he's introducing new workplace protection orders.
Yeah, but then he's potentially reviewing work from home. That's what they're saying, and then he's reviewing the suburban rail loop, which is code word for cancelling.
I think this is the truth. I think Victorian Labor ignored Murdoch and the right-wing media for a long time, and I think it did them a lot of good, because they were just like, fuck it, we're going to be an unapologetically Labor government.
Yes, and that comes back to Charli xcx. It's about what's
conviction.
The word? Conviction.
We're not gonna tack around the edges like the fucking Minns government up here. We're just gonna go straight for it.
Yeah,
we don't care about the criticism. Yeah. We're gonna have all these cookers fucking running after us with pitchforks, but we don't care. Yeah. And look at them. They've got 2 landslides, and now as soon as they've cut her off, Jacinta,
they're having issues.
Well, look, they were having issues before, but now it's almost, we can almost pretty much say dead in the water.
I wonder if Labor left and all the lefties, including ourselves, can basically say, if Ben Carroll loses the election if we can basically blame it on Ben
Oh, I know.
Carroll.
And you know what they're going to do? They're going to
Yeah.
blame it on Jacinta still because,
Yeah.
you know, it's all Jacinta.
Well, but then
Jacinta.
we can say, well, under a left leader, they didn't lose for ages, but under a right leader, they did.
I think
I wonder
that-
if Sonia Kilkenny
Yeah.
will capitalise on that and we'll have opposition leader Sonia Kilkenny.
I think
but we'll
she-
see. Look, I hope Victorian Labour wins, though. And I wish
I
Ben
do.
Carroll
No,
the
I
best.
genuinely
wish him
do
the
as well.
best. Yeah, I do wish him the best. I
yeah.
think it was a wrong decision. I think he jumped too early.
Yeah.
Well, I just think he shouldn't have jumped, to be honest, at all. On
And
Jacinta.
I hope he's just doing all these word salads for the sake of it. Like,
Yeah.
in terms of, we'll put everything in review. I'm not Jan Andrews, I'm Jacinta Allan.
Yeah, I hope he's
Yeah.
just doing it because it's all like opinion
Yes,
polling
that's right,
stuff.
that's right.
And he's just ticking the box.
But clearly it's not working.
So anyway, speaking of clearly not working, in the seat of Grainler, Hannah Ferguson, who is how would we describe her?
Political influencer.
Yes, political influencer.
She's the CEO of Cheek Media.
Yeah, CEO of Cheek Media. There you go. She is going to be running against Anthony Albanese, the Prime Minister in the seat. Now, I live in the seat, so it's going to be an interesting campaign period for sure. What are your thoughts generally on this? Because it's gained a lot of media attention. A lot of people are speaking about it. What do you think?
Look, I think it's quite minor, but when talking about Grainler, the truth is it really should be a lot more of a competitive Labor Greens seat for what it is as a seat, and Anthony Albanese's done very well
to keep it as
keep the
Labour
Greens
as
at
it
bay.
is,
Well, it's a very let's
I
go
think
Labor
when
man.
he goes though,
For
then
sure.
it will become
Yes.
a little more competitive.
Yes.
I still think Labour's in a comfortable position there at least for another 10
Yeah.
ye's, maybe just short of that. But
Yeah.
when he goes,
Yes.
they will definitely see.
But I think Hannah Ferguson's thought is, there's an array of other thoughts she would have had as well, is the Greens aren't challenging Grainler
properly.
enough.
Yes, well, that's what she said. She said they've
Yeah.
found no success.
That's right.
And that is true.
And so I think if the left of Labour wants to give Labour a run for their money, they may as well try something different.
She's yet the best option for them at this point electorally. Look, I'm not having it whatsoever. I think that what this is a bit of a stunt for some personal attention. I think it's very much so. I think the reason she's not running as part of the Greens or part of a party or anything like that, it's not because of what she claims of, I'm not for party politics because, it needs to be about local representation. I don't think it's because of that. I don't think she's a team player whatsoever, which is what they said on the Serious Danger podcast, the Greens podcast. I think it is very much so all about her. Naturally, that's the type of work she does as a political influencer. She's very, centered in all the content she makes. It's very much the Hannah Ferguson show. And I think that, I don't think that she's going to actually have the infrastructure to succeed in the seat. For example, Ashfield pre-poll, they have translators translating what languages was it?
Well, Mandarin and Cantonese.
Mandarin, stuff like that, right? I just don't think she's going to have stuff like that set up. I don't think she's going to have trust with elderly voters. I don't think that she is going to have trust with a lot of working class voters in places like Croydon Park and places like Enfield. My bet is that she's not even going to enter my area, around Croydon Park, Enfield, Ashbury, that area. She's not even going to step foot there, right? She's going to focus herself on the inner city part of the seat, and she's going to leave people behind out in the western part of the seat. So I just don't think she has the infrastructure. I think it's a very self-centered thing. Obviously, look, she's entitled to run as everyone is, good on her. Like, at least she's having a crack, but I will not be keen on it whatsoever.
Touching on the infrastructure stuff, just to kind of wrap it up, I find it quite interesting that, she's quite a left-wing candidate, but she's so individual focused.
Exactly.
She there's no camaraderie. There's no, as you said, there's no teamwork, and that's why she has no.
It's very much a personality.
That's right.
thing. Yeah.
That's right. And I think that just goes back to what I think it's just all a publicity.
I think
stunt.
it's just selfish.
Well, that's what it is.
We just need to call
and
a spade.
look,
Fair enough,
she
like,
can
you
run
know
where
what?
she wants. Like, she can do what she wants,
I'm sure
but like,
the flops would probably do very selfish things, like that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying I can't believe that she's doing this. I mean, fair enough, have a crack. But
Yeah.
I do think it's very much so a self-centered, it's the Hannah Ferguson show.
That's right.
approach
It's not
rather
for the
than-
common good of
it's
Australia.
not really
like
yes, yes. And it's not really... And, you know, she talks about, you know, gas taxes and Gaza and stuff like that. Great, important topics. Even gambling, stuff like that. The people of Grainler, why would they, you know, move to an independent backbencher from the Prime Minister who would have a lot more influence over stuff like that? He is the leader of the government. He's the leader of the party in government. He's the fucking Prime Minister of Australia, right? He has a lot more sway and a lot more of an ability to actually push these policies. Now, yes, he's not necessarily doing it now, right? But I mean, what we've seen with Labor is I do think they're relatively good at listening to public demand, right? Normally it's with a year or two lag, right? But he has a lot more influence than she would as an independent backbencher.
That's right.
Why would they move their vote to her away from him if they really want stuff like that? That's kind of my argument as well. So it'll be interesting to see. I'll have a splendid time dealing with her volunteers on the booths. Hopefully I won't get into a fight. That's another thing as well. You have to remember she has a big social media following, but they're from all over Australia. They're from all over Sydney. And I don't know if they're necessarily that politically engaged and motivated to drive 1 hour to come to the seat of Grainler and volunteer and hand out. Do you get what I'm saying?
That's right.
Like, it's actually going to be quite hard getting all of them people transferring that online presence to a presence in an electorate. And yes, I guess they can drive an hour, but then guess what? A lot of them aren't even living in the seat who are able to vote. So
that's right.
Look, we'll see. Best wishes to her, just as I'm, you know, extending my best wishes to Ben Carroll. Whether they're genuine best wishes, we'll have to work that out. Anyway,
I think they are for Ben.
For Ben, yeah, no, I want Labor to win there. I would be very upset if they did.
Yeah.
Anyway, good on him for having the conviction. I think we've covered everything.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
What's happening? I was going to say, what's happening this week? What's on the agenda
this week? I'm back to uni. So, that. Anyway, how about you?
Not much.
Wow,
as I just said before at the beginning of this thing, my life is fully packed.
Yeah, now you just realised that there's absolutely...
I'm working, actually. I'm working today.
There you go. But you know what? Can we review what you told me yesterday?
Yeah.
Will anyone watch or no?
You can.
Well, he wants to resign from his job.
Yeah. I'm considering resigning.
Yes, considering. You could be fucked if your fucking work found this. And he's written some big thing, some big statement. You know, like Jacinta Allan trying to resign. Anyway, anyway, we'll end it here, everyone. Before we continue disgracing ourselves, now he's going to get sacked. He's going to get the boot.
Well, that's why I don't care.
You already regretted even us speaking about this.
No, a little bit.
Anyway,
who cares?
Thank you so much for watching.
Shit. Oh, there are actually quite a few people.
Who knows if they watch to the end? Anyway, thank you for watching. We'll be back in a few weeks.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Thank you.